Hey everyone, and welcome back to Stoic Saga. Ever feel like you're swimming against the current, struggling to keep your head above water? Like you're constantly battling against the flow of life instead of moving with it? What if I told you there's an ancient philosophy, a way of being, that can help you find ease, harmony, and a sense of effortless flow in your life? In this episode, we're diving deep into the wisdom of Lao Tzu, the legendary Chinese philosopher and founder of Taoism. We'll explore 10 powerful principles from his teachings that can help you align with the natural rhythm of the universe, let go of resistance, and find a sense of effortless flow in everything you do. Get ready to tap into the wisdom of the Tao, release your struggles, and discover a life of greater peace, purpose, and fulfillment. If you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. Let's spread the wisdom of Lao Tzu and help others find their flow too. And don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Saga for more inspiring content on Stoicism, self-improvement, and personal growth. Let's dive in. 1. Let go of your ego. All right, let's dive into the first key to finding flow in your life, letting go of your ego. Now, before you start picturing yourself shedding your identity and wandering around in a blissful haze of detachment, let me clarify. Lao Tzu wasn't advocating for a complete erasure of the self. He was pointing to the importance of recognizing the limitations of the ego, that part of us that clings to labels, titles, and external validation. In the words of Lao Tzu, the ego is entranced by names and ideas. However, names and concepts only block your perception of this great oneness. He believed that our true selves are far more expansive than the roles we play or the labels we identify with. When we cling too tightly to these ego-driven identities, we create a sense of separation, a barrier between ourselves and the natural flow of life. Think of it like this. Imagine a river flowing towards the ocean. The river's natural state is one of movement, of fluidity, of adapting to the contours of the land. But if we build a dam across the river, restricting its flow, we disrupt its natural rhythm, creating stagnation and preventing it from reaching its full potential. Similarly, our ego can act like a dam in our lives, restricting our flow, limiting our potential, and creating resistance to the natural currents of life. When we identify too strongly with our job titles, our social roles, or our achievements, we create a sense of separation from the interconnectedness of all things. The Stoics would resonate with this idea. They believed in living in accordance with nature, recognizing our place within the grand scheme of things, and accepting the impermanence of all things, including our own identities. So, how do you actually let go of your ego? Well, it starts with awareness. Pay attention to the ways in which your ego shows up in your life. Are you constantly seeking validation from others? Are you comparing yourself to others and feeling either superior or inferior? Are you attached to specific outcomes or achievements, feeling a sense of self-worth only when you succeed? Lao Tzu encouraged us to cultivate humility, to recognize that we are all interconnected and that our individual identities are merely facets of a larger whole. He wrote, "All streams flow to the sea because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it its power." Now, letting go of your ego doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent to your achievements. It's about recognizing that your true worth is not defined by external markers of success, but by your inner character, your values, and your contributions to the world. For example, let's say you're a successful entrepreneur. You might be tempted to identify strongly with your achievements, to define yourself by your business success. But by letting go of your ego, you can recognize that your success is not just about you. It's about the team you've built, the customers you serve, and the positive impact you're making on the world. Another key aspect of letting go of your ego is practicing non-attachment. This doesn't mean giving up on your goals or becoming indifferent to outcomes. It's about releasing the need to control every aspect of your life, accepting that things might not always go according to plan, and finding peace in the present moment. The Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh beautifully captured this idea when he said, "Letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness. If in our heart we still cling to anything, anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free." So, my friends, let go of your ego. Cultivate humility, practice non-attachment, and recognize that your true self is far more expansive than the roles you play or the labels you identify with. As Lao Tzu said, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. 2. Dare not to be first. All right, let's explore another key to finding flow in your life, daring not to be first. Now, before you start picturing yourself resigning from your leadership roles and shunning any ambition, let me clarify. Lao Tzu wasn't advocating for mediocrity or a lack of striving. He was pointing to the importance of humility, of recognizing our interconnectedness with others, and of letting go of the ego-driven desire to always be in the spotlight. In the words of Lao Tzu, all streams flow to the sea because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it its power. He believed that true strength lies not in dominating others or striving for constant recognition, but in recognizing our place within the larger whole, in contributing our unique talents without seeking to be the center of attention. Think of it like this. Imagine an orchestra playing a beautiful symphony. Each instrument has its own unique role to play, its own melody to contribute. But if one instrument tries to dominate, to play louder than the others, to constantly be in the spotlight, it disrupts the harmony of the orchestra and diminishes the beauty of the music. Similarly in life, our roles and contributions are interconnected. We are all part of a larger orchestra, each playing our unique part to create a harmonious whole. When we strive to always be first, to be the best, to outshine others, we create disharmony, competition, and resistance to the natural flow of life. The Stoics would resonate with this idea. They believed in living in accordance with nature, recognizing our interconnectedness with all things, and accepting our place within the grand scheme of things. They understood that true fulfillment comes not from external validation or comparisons to others, but from living a life of virtue and contributing to the common good. So, how do you actually dare not to be first? Well, it starts with cultivating humility. Recognize that you are not the center of the universe, that your contributions are part of a larger tapestry, and that true strength lies in collaboration and cooperation. Lao Tzu encouraged us to let go of the need for external validation, to find satisfaction in the act of contributing, rather than seeking constant praise or recognition. He wrote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." In other words, focus on the process, on the journey, on the joy of contributing your unique talents, rather than fixating on being the first or the best. Now, daring not to be first doesn't mean suppressing your ambition or denying your talents. It's about channeling your ambition towards a greater purpose, towards contributing to something larger than yourself, and finding fulfillment in the collective effort. For example, let's say you're a talented athlete. You might be driven to win competitions, to be the best in your field. But by daring not to be first, you can shift your focus towards teamwork, towards supporting your teammates, and towards finding joy in the shared pursuit of excellence. Another key aspect of daring not to be first is practicing gratitude. Appreciate the contributions of others, recognize their unique talents, and celebrate their successes. This fosters a spirit of collaboration and creates a more harmonious and supportive environment for everyone to thrive. The Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh beautifully captured this idea when he said, "To be beautiful means to be yourself. You don't need to be accepted by others. You need to accept yourself." True beauty, true strength comes from within, from recognizing your own worth and contributing your unique gifts to the world without seeking to outshine others. So, my friends, dare not to be first. Cultivate humility, practice gratitude, and find fulfillment in contributing to the greater good. As Lao Tzu said, "A leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say, 'We did it ourselves.'" 3. Let go of your desire to rush things. All right, let's explore another key to finding flow in your life: letting go of the desire to rush things. In our fast-paced, achievement-oriented world, it's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of instant gratification, to constantly strive for faster results, quicker outcomes, and immediate satisfaction. But Lao Tzu, with his emphasis on effortless action and alignment with the natural rhythms of life, would caution against this relentless pursuit of speed. He wrote, "He who rushes ahead doesn't go far." He believed that true progress, true fulfillment, comes not from forcing or rushing things, but from aligning with the natural flow of the Tao, the underlying principle that guides all of existence. Think of it like this. Imagine a gardener planting a seed. The gardener can't force the seed to sprout, to grow, to blossom. They can provide the right conditions: fertile soil, water, sunlight. But ultimately, they must surrender to the natural timing of growth, trusting that the seed will unfold in its own time, according to its own inherent rhythm. Similarly, in life, we can set our intentions, we can take action, we can nurture our dreams, but we can't force outcomes, we can't rush the process, and we can't control the timing of events. Trying to do so only creates resistance, stress, and a sense of disharmony with the natural flow of life. The Roman poet Horace captured this idea when he wrote, "He who has begun has half done. Dare to be wise. Begin." The emphasis here is not on rushing to the finish line, but on taking that first step, on beginning the journey with courage, and then allowing the process to unfold naturally. So, how do you actually let go of the desire to rush things? Well, it starts with cultivating patience. Recognize that everything has its own timing, its own rhythm of unfolding. Just as a seed needs time to germinate and grow, our dreams and aspirations need time to take root and blossom. Lao Tzu encouraged us to embrace Wu Wei, the principle of effortless action. This doesn't mean being passive or inactive. It means acting in alignment with the natural flow of life, taking inspired action when it's needed, and then letting go of the need to control the outcome. Think of it like this. Imagine you're learning to play a musical instrument. You can't force your fingers to move faster or your skills to develop overnight. It takes time, practice, and patience. But by surrendering to the process, By enjoying the journey of learning and growth, you'll eventually master the instrument and create beautiful music. Another key aspect of letting go of rushing is cultivating trust. Trust in the timing of the universe, trust in your own abilities, and trust that things will unfold as they should, even if it doesn't always look the way you expect. The spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle beautifully captured this idea when he said, "Stress is caused by being here, but wanting to be there." When we're constantly focused on the future, on what we haven't yet achieved, we create a sense of dissatisfaction with the present moment, a feeling of rushing towards something that always seems just out of reach. But when we let go of that desire to rush, when we embrace the present moment fully, we open ourselves up to the beauty, the joy, and the abundance that already exists in our lives. We find flow, not by forcing things to happen, but by allowing them to unfold naturally in their own time. So, my friends, let go of the desire to rush things, cultivate patience, embrace effortless action, trust the timing of the universe, and find peace in the present moment. As the proverb says, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Fourth, embrace change. All right, let's talk about something that's often met with resistance, fear, and a yearning for the familiar. Change. In our human experience, we tend to crave stability, predictability, and a sense of control over our lives. But Lao Tzu, with his profound understanding of the Tao, the ever-flowing nature of reality, would encourage us to embrace change, to see it not as a disruption, but as an essential part of life's journey. He wrote, "New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings." He recognized that change can be challenging, that it can involve letting go of the familiar, the comfortable, the known. But he also saw change as an opportunity for growth, for transformation, for aligning with the natural rhythms of the universe. Think of it like this. Imagine a tree in autumn. Its leaves, once vibrant and green, turn golden and crimson, then gracefully fall to the ground, seemingly marking an end. But this shedding is not a sign of death. It's a preparation for renewal, a necessary step in the cycle of life. The tree lets go of its old leaves to make way for new growth, for a fresh burst of life in the spring. Similarly, in our lives, change can be a shedding, a letting go of old patterns, beliefs, and attachments that no longer serve us. It can be painful, it can be challenging, but it's often a necessary step towards growth, renewal, and a deeper alignment with our true selves. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus famously said, "The only thing that is constant is change." He recognized that change is the very essence of reality, the driving force behind growth, evolution, and the unfolding of life's tapestry. So, how do you actually embrace change? Well, it starts with acceptance. Recognize that change is inevitable, that it's a fundamental part of the human experience. Resisting change is like trying to hold back the tide. It's a futile effort that only creates more suffering. Lao Tzu encouraged us to be like water, to adapt to the changing circumstances of life, to flow around obstacles, and to find new paths when old ones are blocked. He wrote, "Nothing is softer or more flexible than water, yet nothing can resist it." Now, embracing change doesn't mean passively accepting every situation or giving up on your goals. It's about recognizing that life is a dynamic process, that unexpected events will arise, and that our plans and expectations might need to adjust along the way. For example, let's say you've been working towards a specific career goal for years. But then, an unexpected opportunity arises. a chance to pursue a different path that aligns more closely with your evolving passions and values. Embracing change might mean letting go of your original plan and stepping into the unknown, trusting that this new path will lead you to greater fulfillment. Another key aspect of embracing change is cultivating a growth mindset. See challenges and setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities for learning, adaptation, and transformation. The Stoics believed that adversity can be a catalyst for growth, a chance to strengthen our resilience and discover hidden strengths. The psychologist Carol Dweck, known for her work on mindset, emphasizes the importance of embracing challenges when she says, "In a growth mindset, challenges are exciting rather than threatening. So rather than thinking, 'Oh, I'm going to reveal my weaknesses,' you say, 'Wow, here's a chance to grow.' So, my friends, embrace change, accept its inevitability, adapt to its flow, and see it as an opportunity for growth and renewal. As the saying goes, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance." 5. Be content with little or right. Let's talk about contentment. That quiet sense of satisfaction, that inner peace that arises from appreciating what we have, rather than constantly yearning for what we lack. In our consumerist culture, where we're bombarded with messages urging us to buy more, achieve more, and be more, it's easy to fall into the trap of endless wanting. But Lao Tzu, with his profound wisdom about the nature of true fulfillment, would encourage us to find contentment in simplicity, in appreciating the abundance that already exists in our lives. He wrote, "Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you." He believed that true happiness lies not in the accumulation of material possessions or external achievements, but in cultivating an inner state of gratitude and contentment. Think of it like this. Imagine you're standing on a mountaintop, gazing out at a breathtaking vista. The sun is shining, the air is crisp, and the scenery is breathtaking. But you're so busy taking pictures, checking your social media feed, and comparing your experience to others that you completely miss the beauty of the moment. You're so focused on capturing the experience, on sharing it with others, that you fail to truly appreciate it for yourself. Similarly, in life, we can become so consumed by the pursuit of more money, more possessions, more status, that we lose sight of the abundance that already exists in our lives. We become blind to the simple joys, the meaningful connections, and the everyday miracles that surround us. The Roman Stoic philosopher Seneca captured this idea when he wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." True poverty, according to the Stoics, is not a lack of material possessions, but a lack of contentment, a constant yearning for something that always seems just out of reach. So, how do you actually cultivate contentment? Well, it starts with shifting your focus from what you lack to what you have. Take some time each day to appreciate the good things in your life, your health, your loved ones, your home, your talents, the beauty of nature, the simple pleasures that bring you joy. Lao Tzu encouraged us to cultivate a mindset of gratitude, to recognize the abundance that already exists in our lives. He wrote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." In other words, trust that the universe will provide for your needs, appreciate the gifts that are already present, and find contentment in the journey, not just the destination. Now, being content with little doesn't mean settling for mediocrity or giving up on your dreams. It's about recognizing that true happiness comes not from external achievements or material possessions, but from an inner state of peace and fulfillment. The Greek philosopher Epicurus, known for his philosophy of pleasure and happiness, emphasized the importance of simple pleasures. He wrote, "Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for." Another key aspect of contentment is letting go of comparisons. In today's world, with social media constantly showcasing the highlight reels of others' lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison, feeling inadequate or envious of what others have. But Lao Tzu would remind us that everyone's journey is unique, and that true contentment comes from focusing on our own path, our own progress, and our own unique contributions to the world. The Buddhist nun Pema Chodron beautifully captured this idea when she said, "You are the sky. Everything else, it's just the weather. Our true selves, our inner essence, are like the vast sky, while our thoughts, emotions, and external circumstances are like the ever-changing weather. By focusing on the vastness of our inner being, we can find contentment amidst the storms of life. So, my friends, be content with little. Cultivate gratitude. Appreciate the abundance in your life. Let go of comparisons and find joy in the simple things. As the proverb says, "He who is contented is rich." 6. Accept your flaws. All right, let's talk about something that can be a real challenge in our perfection-obsessed culture: accepting our flaws. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to strive for flawlessness, to achieve the perfect body, the perfect career, the perfect life. But Lao Tzu, with his profound wisdom about the nature of true beauty and authenticity, would encourage us to embrace our imperfections, to see them not as blemishes, but as integral parts of our unique and valuable selves. He wrote, "When you accept yourself, the whole world accepts you." He believed that true acceptance begins within, that when we can embrace our flaws, our shortcomings, and our imperfections, we radiate a sense of authenticity and confidence that resonates with others. Think of it like this. Imagine a piece of handcrafted pottery. It might have a slight imperfection, a subtle unevenness in its shape, or a tiny crack in its glaze. But these imperfections don't diminish its beauty. They enhance it, adding character, uniqueness, and a touch of human touch. Similarly, our flaws are what make us human, what make us unique, what make us interesting. They are the brushstrokes that add depth and texture to the masterpiece of our lives. When we try to erase them, to hide them, to pretend they don't exist, we diminish our own authenticity and create a barrier between ourselves and the world. The Roman poet Horace captured this idea when he wrote, "Imperfection is beauty, madness is genius, and it's better to be absolutely ridiculous than absolutely boring." He recognized that our flaws, our quirks, our eccentricities are what make us stand out, what make us memorable, what make us truly alive. So, how do you actually accept your flaws? Well, it starts with self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a dear friend. Recognize that you are human, that you are a work in progress, and that your flaws are not signs of weakness, but opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Lao Tzu encouraged us to let go of self-judgment, to embrace our wholeness, including the parts of ourselves that we might not always like. He wrote, "Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage." This applies not just to romantic love, but to the love we have for ourselves, a love that accepts us fully, flaws and all. Now, accepting your flaws doesn't mean giving up on self-improvement or resigning yourself to mediocrity. It's about recognizing that perfection is an illusion, that our flaws are part of what makes us unique, and that true beauty lies in authenticity and self-acceptance. The psychologist Carl Rogers, known for his humanistic approach to therapy, emphasized the importance of self-acceptance when he said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. When we can embrace our flaws without judgment, we create space for growth, transformation, and a deeper connection with our true selves." Another key aspect of accepting your flaws is letting go of the need for external validation. In today's world, with social media constantly showcasing the filtered and curated versions of others' lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking approval from others, of measuring our worth based on external standards. But Lao Tzu would remind us that true validation comes from within, from accepting ourselves fully and recognizing our inherent worth. The author and activist Marianne Williamson beautifully captured this idea when she wrote, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us." When we can embrace our flaws and step into our full power, we radiate a confidence and authenticity that attracts genuine connection and acceptance from others. So, my friends, accept your flaws. Practice self-compassion. Let go of the need for external validation and embrace your imperfections as part of what makes you unique and beautiful. As the saying goes, our flaws are what make us perfect. 7. Balance work and rest. All right, let's talk about finding that sweet spot between exertion and rejuvenation, between pushing forward and stepping back, balancing work and rest. In our productivity-obsessed culture, where busyness is often worn as a badge of honor, it's easy to fall into the trap of overworking, of constantly striving, of pushing ourselves to the point of burnout. But Lao Tzu, with his profound understanding of the Tao, the natural rhythm of the universe, would encourage us to find a harmonious balance between action and inaction, between effort and rest. He wrote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." He recognized that true productivity, true effectiveness, comes not from relentless striving, but from aligning with the natural cycles of activity and rest, of exertion and rejuvenation. Think of it like this. Imagine a bow and arrow. To launch the arrow with power and accuracy, the archer must first draw back the bowstring, creating tension and potential energy. But if the archer holds the bowstring taut indefinitely, the bow will eventually lose its elasticity and break. Similarly, in life, we need periods of exertion, of focused effort, to achieve our goals and make progress. But we also need periods of rest, of relaxation, to restore our energy, replenish our spirits, and maintain our overall well-being. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle captured this idea when he said, "We work to have leisure, on which happiness depends." He recognized that work and rest are not opposing forces, but complementary aspects of a fulfilling life. So, how do you actually balance work and rest? Well, it starts with awareness. Pay attention to your body's signals, to your energy levels, to your mental and emotional state. Are you pushing yourself too hard? Are you neglecting your need for rest and rejuvenation? Lao Tzu encouraged us to listen to our inner wisdom, to recognize our natural rhythms, and to honor our need for both activity and stillness. He wrote, "The way is like an empty vessel. It can never be filled." In other words, we need to create space in our lives for both doing and being, for both action and reflection. Now, balancing work and rest doesn't mean dividing your day into equal halves of productivity and relaxation. It's about finding a rhythm that works for you, that honors your individual needs and supports your overall well-being. For example, you might find that you're most productive in the mornings, so you schedule your most demanding tasks for that time. Then, in the afternoons, you might prioritize activities that nourish your mind and body, such as exercise, spending time in nature, or engaging in creative pursuits. Another key aspect of balancing work and rest is setting boundaries. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to blur the lines between work and personal time, but the Stoics would encourage us to create clear boundaries, to designate specific times for work and specific times for rest, and to protect those boundaries with intention and discipline. The psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, known for his work on flow state, emphasizes the importance of balance when he says, "The best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times. The best moments usually occur if a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile." He recognizes the value of both challenge and rest, of pushing ourselves to achieve our goals while also honoring our need for rejuvenation. So, my friends, find that harmonious balance between work and rest. Listen to your body, set clear boundaries, and create a rhythm that supports your well-being and allows you to thrive. As the saying goes, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. But remember, all play and no work can also lead to stagnation and a lack of fulfillment. Embrace the Taoist principle of balance and find that sweet spot where you can achieve your goals while also nurturing your mind, body, and spirit. 8. Practice flexibility and adaptability. All right, let's talk about a quality that's essential not just for navigating the twists and turns of life, but also for achieving our goals with grace and ease: flexibility. In a world that often values rigidity, structure, and unwavering adherence to plans, Lao Tzu, with his profound understanding of the Tao, the ever-flowing nature of reality, would encourage us to cultivate flexibility, to adapt to change, and to find new paths when old ones are blocked. He wrote, "The stiff and unbending is the disciple of death. The gentle and yielding is the disciple of life." He recognized that rigidity, that stubborn insistence on sticking to a fixed plan, can create resistance, frustration, and even a sense of stagnation. But flexibility, the ability to adapt to changing circumstances, allows us to navigate life's challenges with grace, creativity, and a sense of flow. Think of it like this. Imagine a tree standing tall in a hurricane. A rigid tree, with its branches held stiffly against the wind, is more likely to snap and break under the pressure. But a flexible tree, with its branches swaying and bending in the wind, is more likely to withstand the storm and emerge stronger on the other side. Similarly, in life, flexibility is about bending, not breaking. It's about adapting to change, adjusting our plans, and finding new paths when old ones are blocked. It's about recognizing that life is a dynamic process, that unexpected events will arise, and that our ability to adapt is crucial for our well-being and success. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus captured this idea when he said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man." He recognized that change is the very essence of reality, that everything is in constant flux, and that our ability to adapt is essential for navigating the ever-changing currents of life. So, how do you actually practice flexibility and adaptability? Well, it starts with letting go of the need for control. We often cling to our plans, our expectations, our ideas about how things should be. But the Taoist philosophy encourages us to surrender to the flow of life, to trust that the universe has a plan, and to be open to unexpected detours and opportunities. Lao Tzu wrote, "Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like." It's about recognizing that we can't control everything, that life will inevitably throw us curveballs, and that our ability to adapt is what allows us to thrive amidst uncertainty. Now, practicing flexibility doesn't mean being passive or giving up on your goals. It's about being willing to adjust your approach, to change your strategies, and to find new paths when old ones are blocked. It's about recognizing that setbacks and challenges are not failures but opportunities for learning, growth, and redirection. The psychologist Viktor Frankl, known for his work on finding meaning in suffering, emphasized the importance of adaptability when he said, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Sometimes the most powerful way to navigate challenges is not to try to force the world to conform to our will, but to adapt ourselves, to become more flexible, more resilient, more aligned with the flow of life. Another key aspect of flexibility is cultivating a beginner's mind. This means approaching situations with curiosity, openness, and a willingness to learn. It's about letting go of preconceived notions, assumptions, and rigid ways of thinking, and allowing yourself to be surprised by new perspectives and possibilities. The Zen Buddhist monk Shunryu Suzuki captured this idea when he wrote, "In the beginner's mind there are many possibilities, but in the expert's there are few." When we cling to our expertise, to our knowledge, to our established ways of doing things, we limit our ability to adapt, to innovate, and to see the world with fresh eyes. So, my friends, practice flexibility and adaptability. Let go of the need for control, embrace change, cultivate a beginner's mind, and navigate the twists and turns of life with grace and ease. As the saying goes, the oak fought the wind and was broken, the willow bent when it must and survived. 9. Live in the present moment. All right, let's talk about a concept that's often easier said than done, but it holds the key to unlocking a life of flow and inner peace. Living in the present moment. In our fast-paced world, with its constant distractions and endless to-do lists, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of thoughts about the past and worries about the future. But Lao Tzu, with his profound wisdom about the nature of reality, would encourage us to ground ourselves in the present, to find stillness amidst the chaos, and to fully embrace the only moment that truly exists, now. He wrote, "If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you're at peace, you're living in the present." He recognized that our minds have a tendency to wander, to get caught up in regrets about what has been or anxieties about what might be. But true peace, true fulfillment, lies in anchoring ourselves to the present moment, to the here and now. Think of it like this. Imagine you're trying to balance on a tightrope. If your gaze is constantly flitting between the ground far below and the distant platform ahead, you're more likely to lose your balance and fall. But if you focus your attention on the tightrope itself, on the present moment, on the subtle adjustments of your body, you're more likely to maintain your balance and reach your destination. Similarly, in life, our minds are constantly pulled in different directions by memories of the past, worries about the future, and distractions in the present. But when we can anchor our attention to the here and now, we find a sense of stability, of clarity, of being fully present in our own lives. The Roman Stoic philosopher Seneca captured this idea when he wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." He recognized that true joy and fulfillment are not found in chasing after fleeting pleasures or worrying about what might happen tomorrow, but in savoring the richness of the present moment. So, how do you actually live in the present moment? Well, it starts with cultivating mindfulness. This means paying attention to your thoughts, your emotions, and your sensory experiences without judgment. It's about noticing the sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and textures of your surroundings without getting carried away by the stories your mind creates about them. Lao Tzu encouraged us to cultivate a quiet mind, to observe the world with a sense of detachment, and to find stillness within the constant flux of change. He wrote, "Silence is a source of great strength." In the quiet spaces between our thoughts, we can connect with a deeper sense of peace, presence, and awareness. Now, living in the present moment doesn't mean ignoring the past or dismissing the future. It's about recognizing that the past is gone, the future is uncertain, and the only moment we truly have is now. It's about learning from the past, planning for the future, but ultimately grounding ourselves in the present, where life truly unfolds. The Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh beautifully captured this idea when he said, "The present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it." By paying attention to the present moment, we can discover the beauty, the wonder, and the abundance that already exists in our lives. Another key aspect of living in the present moment is letting go of regrets and worries. Regrets about the past and worries about the future are like heavy anchors that weigh us down, preventing us from fully embracing the present. The Stoics would encourage us to accept what has been, to let go of what we cannot control, and to focus our energy on the present moment, where we have the power to choose our thoughts, our actions, and our attitude. The spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle emphasized this when he said, "Worry pretends to be necessary, but serves no useful purpose." Worrying about the future is like paying interest on a debt you might never owe. It drains our energy, clouds our judgment, and prevents us from fully experiencing the richness of the present moment. So, my friends, live in the present moment. Cultivate mindfulness, let go of regrets and worries, and embrace the fullness of now. As the saying goes, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. 10. Embrace spontaneity over excessive planning. All right, let's talk about the dance between structure and spontaneity, between planning and letting go. In our goal-oriented society, we're often encouraged to meticulously plan every aspect of our lives, to map out our careers, our relationships, even our vacations down to the minute. But Lao Tzu, with his deep understanding of the Tao, the ever-flowing and unpredictable nature of life, would encourage us to embrace spontaneity, to leave room for the unexpected, and to trust in the unfolding of events. He wrote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. He recognized that while planning can be helpful, excessive planning can also create rigidity, a resistance to the natural flow of life. It's like trying to force a river to flow in a straight line. It might work for a while, but eventually the river will find its own way, carving new paths and adapting to the contours of the land. Similarly, in life, excessive planning can create a sense of constraint, a feeling of being trapped in a predetermined course. It can also lead to disappointment and frustration when things don't go according to plan, as they inevitably will. But by embracing spontaneity, by leaving room for the unexpected, we open ourselves up to new possibilities, new adventures, and new discoveries that we might have missed if we were too rigidly attached to our plans. The French philosopher Albert Camus captured this idea when he wrote, "Life is the sum of all your choices." While planning can help us make informed choices, it's equally important to allow for spontaneity, for those moments of serendipity and unexpected detours that can lead us to unexpected joys and fulfillment. So, how do you actually embrace spontaneity? Well, it starts with letting go of the need for control. We often cling to our plans, our schedules, our ideas about how things should be. But the Taoist philosophy encourages us to surrender to the flow of life, to trust that the universe has a plan, and to be open to the unexpected twists and turns that might arise. Lao Tzu wrote, "Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like." It's about recognizing that we can't control everything, that life will inevitably surprise us, and that our ability to adapt and embrace the unexpected is what allows us to truly thrive. Now, embracing spontaneity doesn't mean abandoning all planning or living a life of complete chaos. It's about finding a balance between structure and freedom, between intention and surrender. It's about setting goals and making plans, but also being open to adjusting those plans as needed, to seizing unexpected opportunities, and to allowing life to unfold in its own unique way. The psychologist Abraham Maslow, known for his hierarchy of needs, emphasized the importance of spontaneity when he said, "If you plan on being anything less than you are capable of being, you will probably be unhappy all the days of your life." He recognized that true fulfillment comes from embracing our full potential, from allowing ourselves to be surprised by life's possibilities, and from following our inner guidance, even when it leads us off the beaten path. Another key aspect of embracing spontaneity is cultivating a sense of playfulness. When we approach life with a playful attitude, we're more open to new experiences, more willing to take risks, and more likely to find joy in the unexpected. It's about letting go of rigid expectations, embracing the unknown, and allowing ourselves to be surprised by the magic of life. The poet and philosopher Rabindranath Tagore captured this idea when he wrote, "The butterfly counts not months but moments, and has time enough." When we can embrace the present moment fully, without clinging to the past or worrying about the future, we open ourselves up to the infinite possibilities that life has to offer. So, my friends, embrace spontaneity. Let go of excessive planning, cultivate a playful attitude, and trust in the unfolding of life's journey. As the saying goes, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. And there you have it, my friends, 10 powerful ways to be in flow with your life, inspired by the timeless wisdom of Lao Tzu. It's a journey of letting go, of aligning with the natural rhythms of the universe, and of finding ease and harmony in all that you do. Remember, Lao Tzu wasn't just a philosopher spouting abstract ideas. He was a keen observer of human nature and the natural world, offering profound insights into how to live a life of balance, virtue, and fulfillment. So, my friends, embrace the wisdom of the Tao. Let go of your ego, cultivate humility, and find contentment in the present moment. Embrace change, adapt to the flow of life, and practice flexibility in your thoughts and actions. As Lao Tzu wisely said, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." Trust in the timing of the universe and allow things to unfold naturally, effortlessly, and in perfect harmony with the Tao. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Stoic Saga for more videos on Stoicism, self-improvement, and personal growth. See you soon.